Fury. I know a thing or two about fury. Fury is the gift of our Father. It rages in our blood, setting us apart from the other legions. It gives us purpose. It makes us stronger. Angron's butchers feel very much the same way, I heard. For them, the rage might well be the deafening and overwhelming roar of a chain axe, but for us, it is the straight and cold steel of a sword's blade. There was a time, or so I've been taught, in which we were not very different from them, maybe even worse, some say, although I was not there myself. By the time of my trials and ascension, the darkness of those days was long gone, alive only in the memories of the veterans of our legion, still alive to remember it. If one listens to their tales, it is plain to see that the rage was always within us, propelling us forward, keeping us alive when we had every odd against us. When my brothers earned their ill reputation as the eaters of the dead, the rage was within them. When Malcador, the Sigilite himself, dubbed them as the Revenant Legion, rage was about the only thing keeping my brothers from the edge of oblivion, dead and stubborn defiance. I admire those of my brothers who fought back then, not because of their dubious reputation or battle record, which the Legion has now left far behind. What is admirable about them is that they were beasts, barely holding on to what was left of their humanity, and still they fought. Still, they were loyal. Even more so, they crawled out from the gory mud of those forsaken battlefields to become paragons of what the Legiones Astartes should be. We, those who came later, despite our terrible hardships and tests, never had to face that trial. We already had him. Our father, the angel, had already been reunited with the Ninth. That, I must confess, I deeply envy. It does not matter that I can hear the accounts from the very mouth of those who were present that day, or even, on occasion, from the Primarch himself. I wish, with both my hearts, with all my being, to have been there that day. They say he knelt. That demigod of war, that perfect giant being shaped as an angel of myth, looked at the blood-stained ranks of the brutal killers who were his sons, and he knelt. He looked at them and saw beyond the gore and the blood, beyond the deceptively beautiful faces, and he saw only men. He listened to their stories, he learned their names, and with this, he took what was left of their humanity and rescued them from their own darkness. I know it was not an instant magical transformation, as some remembrancers will have us believe in their poems. It took time, and it took effort, but that day, with that gesture of kindness, our Father reminded us that we were more than killers, more than weapons, and that whatever else we were also human. He gave us hope. All the legions tell similar stories, and I am not surprised when I see the utter devotion some of my cousins have for their Gene fathers. Horus, Fulgrim, even the likes of Kurtz or the Pale King. Are we all simply children looking after the approval of their father? Oh yeah, I guess we are. Post-human or not, clad in Baal red or regal purple, blood ties us to them in a way mortals can seldom understand. This is why now, sometimes, I look at him and I feel fear. It is said that we Astartes know no fear, that we are impervious to it, but that is not entirely true. To expunge fear from us will diminish who we are. It will make us less effective in the one thing we are bred to do. A warrior needs fear. He needs to fear pain and injury and death, or his recklessness will doom him and those who stand by his side. What makes us different in that regard is that we experience fear as awareness of a threat, but it does not cloud our rational reactions. We will stand and fight in the face of overwhelming odds for sure, but we will also retreat on occasion, not in a frantic attempt to preserve our existence, but in order to achieve a strategic advantage. I have not felt true fear since before my ascension. It is a distant memory of helplessness and vulnerability that seems utterly impossible for an armor-clad post-human warrior to relive. And yet, as I said, some echo of that feeling crosses my chest when I look at my father's angelic visage these days. There is a shadow in there, a trace of something I cannot yet fathom, but something entirely at odds with a being such as a Primarch. Is it melancholy? Is my lord feeling saturnine? What can trouble a Primarch so? There is little love lost between my noble brother Ascalon and I, but I can see we share the same concerns here. Where I stand clad in Baal red, he wears the polished gold of the angel's personal guard. His utmost concern is the safety of the great angel, and he takes his duty with a zeal that I admire, even if it infuriates me at times. My concern lies with the running of the Legion as a whole, a titanic task at the best of times, and the single-mindedness of the Sanguinary Guard often stands on the way of things. My father put this burden on my shoulders, I think, because I know the hearts and minds of my men. Ascalon hides things well, but I know that behind that stern and impassive expression lay the same questions I have. We both know our liege lord can see the future, at least partly. That's as much a part of the gifts the Emperor bestowed upon him as his white wings are, but we are not privy to his visions, and even him has stated that those are not to be trusted as actual glimpses of the future. There is, however, another question, the question both my gold-clad brother and I fear to utter, even to ourselves. Is the mood of our lore related to our flaw, the dark legacy that runs in our blood, hand in hand with our rage and fury? He always had this need to fly. It is his gift. Of all the sons of the Emperor, beloved by all, my lord alone can fly unaided, and I can tell it is for him more than simply an ability. There is a longing in him, and an unanswered need to fly away, to be free, to leave all worldly concerns behind. He is partly human, yes. He has the heart and humility that only someone truly human can have. But he is something else too. I wonder how much of a struggle my lord endures within. Does he suffer the rage and the thirst as we do, or is he simply beyond the reach of those flaws? Does he fear for us, worried that we might end up like the 2nd or the 11th? I cannot imagine. I do not want to imagine what our Legion will do without him. He opened a way for us to follow, away from the dark and into the light. But he himself is that beacon. He himself is the light. If he were ever to fall, if he were ever to leave us, we will be left alone, with the darkness we carry within.